name is Abudu, Country Head of MBA Nigeria. I oversee the MBA's operations in Nigeria.
We understand that Triple Double Accelerator program is about coming up, I think, precisely on 25th of this month. Can you give us a highlight of what to expect and its impact on African innovation?
Okay. So we launched the Triple Double Accelerator in April of this year, and the whole idea of the Triple Double Accelerator is for us to elevate and spotlight promising startups in the sports and in the creative industry. When you think about the creative industry globally, it's valued at approximately $1 trillion, and Africa's contribution to that is relatively small, but in terms of creating value, it's significant, and it's just taking a step back to understand what are some of the things that prevent Africa from truly monetizing in the creative industry. And you find out very quickly that you have several roadblocks, several challenges, and it really comes down to finding startups that can solve some of those problems. And what's exciting for us is that this is a great way of also just sort of really supporting the tech ecosystem in Africa. So the idea has been, since we launched the accelerator in April, we've had over 700 applications submitted, and from that process we've now finalized to the top 10 who are all going to be in New York for demo day. So demo day is occurring in New York alongside the UNGA on Wednesday 25th of September.
Okay, can you highlight the 10 selected finalists? Because you said you've already selected 10. So who are the 10 selected finalists, and what are their groundbreaking startups?
Amazing thing about the 10 startups that are finalists is they're from 7 different countries in Africa, which is incredible to us. It just shows the booming tech ecosystem in Africa. When we launched the accelerator in April, we identified 5 categories we wanted the startups to come from, and the 5 categories are: 1, live and ticketing; the second one being digital platform for fans; the third being AI for fans; the fourth being investing in youth, and the fifth one being others. And the whole idea is for us to find amazing startups that are creating innovative solutions to problems within those respective categories. And I can say that with the top 10 finalists, they cover the full range of categories that we identified in the beginning of the program.
How does it align with broader goals of MBA Africa?
I think that's a really good question. So with the startups, one thing you have to realize is that them getting access to capital, getting access to network, getting access to resources is very important for any startup. And based on the way the accelerator is designed, not only do the winners get cash prize at the end of it, but also it's like we're giving them access to the MBA network. Even as they've been going through this process from a mentoring standpoint, advisory standpoint, they've been engaging with multiple executives within the MBA. And how does it align with the MBA broader vision? When you think about sports and tech actually go hand in hand. As we all know, technology is accelerating every aspect of our life right now, and that's not any different with sports. And for us in Africa is really just identifying that what are the different ways in which we can contribute, but also is that we've identified some of the challenges that we see in our industry, and it's using that to find solution to those problems that not only us are having, but other companies within the ecosystem are experiencing as well. Started out by making sure that it had to be startups that are based in Africa, creating solutions for Africa. That was a number one criteria for us. That was very, very important. But how innovative their ideas are. That was very important in terms of how viable and how sustainable can their business be over time, because you're investing in a startup, you want it to be a startup that has the possibility of being a successful business. Then just they've gone through multiple phases where it's like they're pitching their ideas. How solid is their idea? How ready to market is it? Some of them are ready in the market, some of them are getting ready to go to the market. So you have all these different criteria where we've had experts from different leaders from different industries really get the opportunity to assess each application and each startup and their pitch, and they were scored, and they end up being the top 10 that made it out of everyone.
Okay, talking about pitching, what are we looking out like they will get after anyone that is being selected?
So the top 4.
And what's the extent of the follow-up?
So top 4 winners, there's cash prize. and there are other things, VIK, also attached to it. So that's one. Secondly, in terms of follow-up, ideally, like we mentioned, the MBA, it's not just, oh, we've helped these companies get capital and we just let them. Just like we've done, like during this process, we've ensured that they've been mentored. And one of the key things we're doing at Demo Day that I think is very important as well is that the audience members, it's going to be filled with dignitaries, business leaders, VCs, investors, private equity firms. And what does that mean? That means if any individual listens to a pitch that they find exciting for their company's portfolio, that's a great, fantastic opportunity at that point for them to be able to get access to that startup. So it's beyond, what makes this very unique is like, it's beyond just, they get multiple benefits. Like there's the aspect of the cash prize, the access to the MBA network, but also the individuals who are going to be in the room are companies and VCs and PEs who are actively looking for startups that they can invest in, and that gives them a fantastic opportunity to sort of pitch their idea in front of individuals like that.
Great one. So how does this accelerator program integrate with the MBA's existing initiative in Africa, and what synergies are you hoping to create between sports and technology through this program?
So the reality is that we'd hope that some of the products that are going to come out of this are potentially companies that we can work with on the continent, right? And I truly believe that when you say how does it integrate, it's who we are. I mean, one thing the MBA is known for is the MBA, we use the convening power of basketball to inspire and to connect people across the world. That's exactly what we're doing with this program as well. It's like now just the difference is we're doing that, the power of basketball via technology. So it fits perfectly into what the mission of the MBA is globally and what our mission is here in Africa and Nigeria as well.
So we actually believe that it has a lot of investment opportunities. Can you take us through some of the investment opportunities available within the accelerator program?
We started out from 700 completed applications, down to 65, then down to 15. Then that 15 went through a rigorous, extensive process where they took master classes, where they were mentored, where they learned how to pitch and all of that, all the way down to now we have the top 10 that have been selected that will go to New York. So from an investment standpoint, they got access to some of the best in the industry that taught the master classes that they took. From those who are advising, you have like different MBA executives who have been advising a lot of the founders. That's an investment standpoint. Then for whoever the companies that make it to the top 4, we're not talking about cash price, but it is more than meets the eyes because of the value of us supporting the MBA, the brand, of us supporting an initiative like this and being part of it. We believe that just even opening the MBA network and really giving the startups the opportunity, I mean, it makes a significant difference. For a company just starting out, that plays a huge role in their development.
So what are you looking up to them to like give back?
So like I mentioned earlier, I mean, part of why we're doing this is we see the opportunity that lies within the creative industry. This is the MBA's contribution to the creative industry. For us, it's not about the MBA expecting something in return. This is an initiative that we see the bigger good for the ecosystem, and for us as a business, like I mentioned, some of these companies are solving problems that we encounter within our space as well.
Okay, still related with the question I just asked now, how would you assess the economic impact of the startup sector in Africa? Is there any room for improvement?
Technology is playing a significant role that is allowing Africa to leapfrog in a way that we would have not been able to do, and it's accelerating the growth of many industries. So does that have an economic impact? Absolutely. You see the impact of technology in all respective industries and how that impacts the GDP of a country. So whether it's in Nigeria, whether it's the film industry, look at what Netflix has done in terms of how we engage and how we watch movies. That's technology, right? So you can go through every key pillars and industries and you can see how technology is transforming and accelerating the growth. That has a direct impact on the GDP of any country.
So how does the accelerator program address the unique challenges faced by the startups in Africa, particularly those in the sports and creative industries?
Different startups address different problems, and I think I just used an example of the AI one, and what that helps with is we're a continent with multiple languages. it should be very easy for whether it's somebody in North Africa or somebody in Southern Africa or somebody in Western Africa, we should be able to consume the similar content if we want to. Utilizing AI to sort of translate things, that solves a problem, that makes it easier for people to be able to consume. So we're talking about companies that are really doing innovative things that are going to help the environment and going to help the economy as a whole.
So what partnership or collaboration is the MBA exploring to enhance the support provided through the accelerator program, and how do these partnerships add value?
I always say that whenever you're building, you can't build alone. And the more buy-in you get and the more you work with others, the bigger impact you will have. We've had corporate partners who come on board, who are part of this thing that we're doing, who participate in all the different aspects. So I mentioned to you, for example, mentorship. Those are business experts. And you have different companies that they have experts and subject expertise in different areas, and they're able to contribute with that. What this accelerator shows is just the multiple ways in which the MBA works with corporations in Nigeria and in Africa as a whole. Everything that we do in respective markets, we don't do it by ourselves. We work with different corporates, international and local corporations together as we bring in any of our activations or programs to life.
How does the MBA Africa Triple Double Startup Accelerator Program plan to measure its success and long-term impact on the African entrepreneurial ecosystem?
Okay, fantastic question. For anything we do, the goal is always to make sure it's sustainable and it has impact. The success of this is going to be the success of the companies that come out of it, right? So whether it's the success of the companies that win and the success of the companies that go through our accelerator program, what impact do they have in their communities? Let's take it back to why we call the accelerator triple double. Do you know triple double in basketball is described as something an individual athlete acquires while they're playing the game. So call it triple double accelerator because we're interested in startups that are not only going to be successful, but startups that are going to be impactful in their community as a whole. So that is part of the criteria for the startups that were selected, because it's not just startups that are going to be successful for themselves, but these are startups that are going to have a significant impact in society as a whole.